Good morning. It is Monday, June 17th, 2024. I'm Thomas Caldwell of the Aurelian Column, and this is the Monday Morning Report. First off, I hope everyone who is a father out there had a wonderful Father's Day yesterday. I know I did. Being a father is a very joyous burden, and one that can often be a very trying affair, but in the end, it's how the world keeps going. So my hat's off to all of you out there who took on the mantle of fatherhood and stuck with it. Now on to what's happened and is happening. Russia's been offering a peace deal, another one, basically the same deal that was offered in March of 22, but was tossed aside for some silly, insane reasons, which are worth a little bit of study on. Sorry to be so blunt to those who are rooting for the Zelensky regime, but the war in Ukraine is lost. It is very lost. It is as lost as it can get. And ending it, with the Ukrainian state still in some sort of existence, would be the sane thing to do. As time goes on, it's becoming more and more apparent how the whole thing was pushed along by the United States and NATO. The fact that Russian President Vladimir Putin has time and again stated quite clearly that the use of American and NATO-supplied weapons against targets in Russia, namely missiles and F-16 fighters, will be considered an act of war. That seems to have fallen on deaf ears in Washington. This is a very dangerous situation, folks. Very dangerous. The worst since the Cuban Missile Crisis, only back then we had leaders who were far more intelligent and rational. Russian ships are in Cuba, and, sorry to say, but it's an almost certainty that they have nukes. This is another first since the Cuban Missile Crisis of 62 years ago. Reports of cat-and-mouse games being played between American and Russian ships and submarines throughout the Caribbean are coming out. This is all going on within a few dozen miles of the U.S. coast and only about 10 to 11 minutes from Washington, D.C., as the hypersonic missile flies. And remember, there apparently is nothing in the U.S. arsenal that can stop the current Russian missile lineup. I'll let that one hang in the air for a second. Are you scared yet, dear listeners? Well, good. Welcome to the club. Meanwhile, a so-called peace conference was held in Switzerland regarding the Ukrainian situation, and it turned out to be a rather silly affair that didn't really accomplish much. Russia was not invited. That was a bit of an oversight. Nor did China bother to show up, even though they were invited. Much to his credit, the Saudi's foreign minister pointed this out to the crowd and received a round of applause. The whole affair seemed to be more of a propaganda ploy than anything else. Meanwhile, Ukrainians continue to die, and the country continues to be destroyed, and Gaza continues to be converted into a massive pile of concrete dust mixed in with human flesh. On the home front, Donald Trump's sentencing in a New York City courtroom is less than 1 month away, and I predict July 11th, the day he's supposed to be sentenced, will be a very significant day in American history. On the other coast, the left coast as we call it, Seattle police are vanishing, and the crime rate in that city is skyrocketing. A city in excess of 750,000 people now have either about 400 or a few more police officers to take care of things. They are quitting there in droves and retiring. Nobody wants to be a cop in Seattle, so the solution they will be implementing is to get this, train illegal immigrants, arm them, make them officers of the law, and set them out on the streets. I'm not joking. And I too thought this was satire until I read it at the Law Enforcement Today website. According to the story, the Biden administration will also be waiving the prohibition against illegal immigrants, in other words, felons. from possessing firearms so long as they are on duty at the time. I'm at a loss for words. I want to say something. I've been to Seattle sometimes, haven't been there since 2010, but for the last several decades, I loved that place. I had many friends there. I thought it was a vibrant, fun, beautiful, laid-back place to be. In fact, I once thought about moving there. Thank goodness I didn't. This is the end result of the insane wokeness that is a cancer on our land. The fact that this would even enter people's brain cells shows how far gone that whole process of thinking is. And just when you think things can't get crazier, they do. Now, in the Let's Promote Anger and Hatred Against Americans of European Descent department, a Democratic political candidate in Texas by the name of Tarai Patel, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, has been arrested for creating fake social media accounts that were then used to post made-up racial attacks against him and his Indian ancestry. In other words, he was creating fake accounts on the net and then calling himself terrible derogatory terms to foster sympathy. And apparently these weren't coming from other Indians. These were supposed to be coming from other people. And he also had been previously appointed by the Biden administration to an earlier post regarding minority liaison or some such thing. Folks, fake hate crimes supposedly perpetrated by white people against various other racial entities in this country are a serious problem. They are there to foster hatred, violence, and possibly death. They're a crime, one that needs to be ruthlessly prosecuted, and I would urge the FBI to at least apply as much ruthlessness in their law enforcement capabilities to this crime, which is really causing serious damage to the fabric of our nation, as they have towards the January 6th offenders. This guy's been arrested. I hope he's prosecuted. I'm going to be following this case to see how he's punished. I think it's a fair bet to say that he's not going to be becoming a county commissioner. I believe that's the post that he was running for. But if you think this is an isolated incident, I have a bridge in Brooklyn to sell to you. This is endemic. It's a problem. It's an evil problem, and it must be stopped. In other words, clown world, dolenta est. That's it for today. If you like what you hear, please like and subscribe. Consider a gift subscription to others. Consider a paid subscription to yourself. A donation is also appreciated. I welcome feedback. You can reach me at feedback@aureliancolumn.com. That's feedback@aureliancolumn.com. I can be reached up on Twitter, formerly known as, it's X, formerly known as Twitter. We got to start coming up with a better term than that. My handle up there is MICCAMPEN. That's MICCAMPEN. I can also be reached by direct message up on Substack. My address there is aureliancolumn.substack.com, aureliancolumn.substack.com. Anyways, until we meet again, be good, be safe, be vigilant, and good day.